Caleb Williams and the Bears are coming off a tough Sunday Night Football loss as a loss to the Texans, 13-19. But they are flying to Indianapolis to take on Anthony Richardson, the Indianapolis Colts, who are 0-2 and also lost to the Houston Texans in Week 1. We're going to break down this Week 3 matchup between the Bears and Colts, and also the in-game matchups you need to watch. And at the very end of the video, provide our predictions to the game. But before we get into that, I want to give a huge shout out to all of the new subscribers to the Tracy Take after our Week 2 prediction video series. We set out a goal of getting 100 new subscribers last week, and thanks to you all, we got well over 200 new subscribers. So welcome to the channel. Thank you for helping us reach our goal. To all of our new subscribers, we're not going to be too greedy. Let's just see if we can get another 100 new subscribers this week. So if you have not already, help us out. Hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and a comment. Let us know who you think is going to win this game. And Ryan, let's get into it here. So Chicago's coming off a tough loss, but it's kind of one of those losses I think you'd expect from a younger team with a rookie quarterback, where the rookie quarterback just made some mistakes, but going up against a solid Texans team. While the Colts on the other side, they still have a young quarterback, yes, but I'm more questioning the coaches in their loss against Green Bay Packers and just some of the defensive game planning, because they allowed Josh Jacobs and the Green Bay Packers to run all over them. And even though you knew you had Malik Willis at quarterback, and we've all seen Malik Willis try and play quarterback in the NFL, and yet they still allowed them to keep on running and running. And on top of that, too, they suffered a huge loss in DeForest Buckner. So his status is going to be highly questioned, if not even pretty much confirmed, I think, for the season, depending on.
He has an ankle sprain is what I'm reading. I just looked it up right now.
Okay, so that's going to be tough. It's going to be something to monitor throughout the week, and so because he's going to be huge for this team to move forward. Because any team who's going to see that is they're just going to run all over them. And that's what I'm thinking of for the Bears. Yeah. They didn't run the ball well against the Texans. That being said, Texans do have a good defense, especially a good defensive front. What are kind of both of your thoughts on the Colts team so far up to the season, but also then to Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with the Indianapolis Colts. I think offensively, they're very explosive. You look, Mike Whitman Jr., A.D. Mitchell, Alec Pierce, Jonathan Taylor, and then Anthony Richardson. That's a really explosive group. And I think it shows up. It's just when you play defenses like the Green Bay Packers that are going to be very disciplined, and I will throw the Chicago Bears in that mix. So sometimes explosive plays are really hard to come by, and so you have to win in the details. You have to be making your layups before you can go and start chucking up threes. It is, I guess, the analogy that I'm trying to make. And so for me, I don't I think this offense needs a different level of consistency. And Anthony Richardson, I think that starts with Anthony Richardson making more short and intermediate passes. And whether that's just establishing the run earlier on, maybe running a little bit more play action, getting Anthony Richardson out on some bootlegs and kind of trying to level off the defense. However they do it, I just think they need that more consistent, 8 to 15 yard gain in this offense. And then defensively, man, they struggled. Going into last year, or going into this past offseason, my biggest thing was we went to that Falcons-Colts game on Christmas Eve, and man, the Colts, even just lining up against the Falcons, you could just see the size difference between the offensive linemen and the defensive linemen for the Falcons versus the Colts. And they just looked undersized outside of DeForest Buckner, obviously, because he's a giant, but they just looked undersized. They're really built to rush the passer from all four spots on that defensive front. And I was like, they really need to add some meat in the middle there. And they went out and got Laiatu Latu, a prototypical 4-down edge rusher. And I just didn't feel like that was the best move. I did like the Laiatu Latu play, Laiatu Latu as a player, but I just think they struggled on that defensive side of the ball to really stop the run when they started to go up against some of these downhill teams. And that kind of brings me into Chicago, where they're a team that has invested a lot into this offensive line. Whether they performed up to snuff or not, this the past couple of weeks, I think is up for debate. But I think one of the things that they have been able to do is be a downhill run team as of late. And I think this could be a very good team for them to try to start building that identity of, all right, well, we're just going to we're struggling to protect the passer. So we're going to stymie the pass rush, maybe bring an extra tight end, sometimes keep 6 guys into pass block, but also then we're just going to run the ball 30 times a game and see if you can hold up for that.
Yeah.
And I think this is a good Colts team to do that against.
Well, and to be fair to the Bears offensive line, they did go up against Tennessee in week 1, which has a good defensive front. Then they're going up against Houston, who has a good defensive front. Indianapolis has shown that they do not have a good defensive front, especially then too if of course Buckner does not play. So I agree with you there. I think that's going to be something the Bears are really going to want to focus in and hone in on, while the Colts are going to be looking to try and have some more intermediate throw capabilities. And I will say too, just to that point, Josh Downs has not played for the Colts the past 2 weeks. So
I believe he's on the PUP. I believe he's out for the first 4 weeks.
No, he. I don't think he's on the PUP. I think he got an ankle injury. I only know that just because I get notifications every single week from Fantasy that come Sunday morning he is out and he's not playing in the game. And so I could be wrong on that though. So correct me in the comments if so. But kind of with this game here, let's get into the matchup of the game here, and that to me I think is when week 1 at home, Anthony Richardson, the Colts. Their biggest weakness I could see was obviously the fact that they couldn't stop the run. But in general, though, I thought that Anthony Richardson barely missed a couple of throws that I think would open the game up. And he made some mistakes against Green Bay, absolutely. So we're going to expect that. The game Green Bay was just kind of all around, I think, just a poor performance from the Colts team. But at home, though, I'm curious if there's a little bit more balance kind of with, I don't know, some teams just play better at home. And I think that's just going to be the overall biggest thing, is just being balanced also in the call sheet, but also then too just kind of playing within yourself. It does seem like Richardson, and this can apply to Caleb Williams too, especially after watching the Sunday Night Football game, can kind of get out of themselves and still think that they're in college where they can just over athletic some of these defensive guys. In the NFL, you're just not going to be able to do that. So I think kind of one of the X factors I would say for this game, in my opinion, is going to be which of these young QBs can play the most within themselves and kind of let the game come to them and not try and do too much more than what they think that they can do. As we saw kind of with Caleb Williams, but Anthony Richardson has done this also, where he tries to make some
I'll agree with
acrobatic play.
I'll agree with you with Caleb Williams. I think he needs to do a better job of making the right decision, and whether that's taking the check down or hitting the underneath man or whatever. I think he needs to do a better job of that. Anthony Richardson, I feel like you kind of want controlled chaos on that offense where I think if you try to take that 60-yard bomb to Alec Pierce out of his game, you're just kind of left with the mostly inaccurate underneath thrower with plus athleticism. So for me, I think you kind of need that in the Colts offense. Yeah. And I'm not trying to say let them go out there and throw deep balls to the wall. Just that is, I think, going to be a crucial part of this Colts offense. Whereas right now, Caleb Williams just needs to focus on making the right decision.
Yeah. Well, and I think Richardson's decision making everybody's decision making just all throughout life could get improved a little bit. And I think we've seen Richardson have some improvement on that capacity, but also too there's still some areas where he can improve on though during his sophomore year. I think another factor, and you've already kind of mentioned this, I think the last one really just for myself, not for myself, but for this game is when the Bears have the ball, how do they run the ball? Because if they're able to run the ball all over the Colts, just as the Texans and the Packers did, I think it's just going to be a tough game for this Colts team once again, just because it's going to be really tough for them to stop the ball. Because if they are able to run the ball, it's going to open up play action, and it's going to give Caleb Williams space where he can create, he can improvise. And you're still going to have DJ Moore, still going to have Rome Odunze. Keenan Allen didn't play in week 2, so we'll have to kind of monitor that status. But if he's back in as well, then that's just another great receiving weapon that he can throw to. But if they're able to slow it down and make them a little bit more one-dimensional, or make them get into some third and longs, that's where it can be interesting for this team, who admittedly is just poor on the run defense, have a young secondary as well. So their pass defense isn't that great either. So that's not normally a good recipe for success, but they're trying it out this season. So if they're able to stop the run and just take a little bit of pressure off the passing game, then then it's going to help them out just in the long run through the full 60 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, and that's like let's just kind of get over into predictions here, and I think I'm going to go Chicago. They have the far superior defense in my opinion, especially DeForest Buckner is listed as questionable to play. However, even if he does play, he has a high ankle sprain, and I just don't like. He's not going to be 100%. He's not going to be the menace in the middle that they need him to be in an already weak run defense. And then I think the Bears are going to do a good job of putting this game on Anthony Richardson, make him make the consistent throws, make him beat you, and I just don't know if he can do that at a consistent level yet. Only a couple weeks into this season.
Yeah, I really want to go with Indiana in this game. I really want to, but I'm the thing to me is if DeForest Buckner doesn't play and then seeing them run, you just get run all over. Is every team's going to see that. I think that they're through 2 games and their worst average run defense in yards allowed per game. I think like 237 or something like that. I have a whole Excel sheet and I don't have it up in front of me right now, but it's poor. It's extremely poor, and I think they're going to see that, and I think it's just going to be tough for them to stop the run. And how the Colts are going to win this game is it's going to have to be like a 38-35 style game.
Yeah.
Where it's going to turn into a shootout. But I just don't feel like the Bears are going to allow them to do that. I feel like they're going to try and control the ball a lot, and they should be able to do that just with how poor this run defense is. So I think the Bears are going to win this one. Also, I think it's going to be like a 24-17 type victory for the Bears.
Oh, see, I think it's actually going to be a fairly low scoring matchup. I was going to say 19-13.
Okay. Oh, just like the Texans Bears game.
That is what that was. No, 18-11 was the score I was going to go with. Sorry, 18-11. I know it's a weird one.
That's even weirder. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
18-11. That would be wild.
So I think there's going to be a couple 2-point conversions.
Perfect. I love it.
In the game. So let's go ahead. Let's wrap it up. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup. Will it be the Chicago Bears? Will it be the Indianapolis Colts? Know that we will see you guys next time.